Now, one of the big challenges that we're going to go up against at the very get-go of what we're doing here at Antithesis is the question of whether or not there is truth and whether or not we can know truth. Because, to tell you the truth, if the answer to either of those questions is no, then we're just spinning our wheels here. And that's what many have and will continue to claim. So, let's get right into it. Is there any absolute truth? Is there objective absolute truth outside of our minds? The position that claims that there isn't would be called postmodernism. So let's examine that very quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because we can do a whole other video on all the intricacies of it. But just basically, postmodernism claims that there is no absolute truth. Think about that very hard for just a second. There is no absolute truth. My question for you, Mr. Postmodernist, is that absolutely true? Next question, please. I don't want to be too flippant about it, but I do want to make sure you understand the self-refutation of that position. They are saying that the only absolute truth is that there is no absolute truth, and therefore it is self-contradictory, it's a meaningless combinations of words, it's like a belch or a fart. I don't mean to be too demeaning. Again, we will do a whole video in the future, maybe even a whole article on postmodernism in order to explore all the intricacies and all the objections. Moving on, though, to the next question. Now that we've established, okay, the idea that there is no absolute truth is self-refuting, what about, can we know truth? Sure, maybe there is truth out there, maybe there is objective absolute truth, but can we know it? That's going to get into the issue of agnosticism. There are two types of agnosticism. Agnosticism really just means without knowledge. Without gnosis, knowledge, from the Greek word agnosis. So agnostics claim that either I personally don't know the truth or you cannot know the truth. The first one would be a soft agnostic. If you want to claim, or if I want to claim that I just don't know the truth, I would be a soft agnostic, and that's perfectly legitimate. The question then is, do you want to know the truth? And if you don't, I would say there might be a moral deficiency in your soul. But the hard agnostic is usually the one that we're going to be dealing with, and usually even the soft agnostic, deep down, is truly a hard agnostic, in that they assume that you really can't know the truth. Nobody can really know the truth. And that is a pretty bold statement for somebody who claims that you can't know anything true about the world. Again, I'm going to show you how that issue is self-refuting, but in order to illustrate it, I want to use one of agnosticism's most famous illustrations. Agnosticism usually deals with the issue of whether or not there's a God, or whether or not we can know anything about the God. And so the most famous illustration of agnosticism is that God is like an elephant. And all the religions of the world are like blindfolded men or blind men. They're coming up to the elephant and they're groping the elephant, they're feeling the elephant, and Islam has the trunk of the elephant and says, God is like a snake. And Christianity has the side of the elephant and is feeling it and says, no, God is like a wall. And Judaism has the tail of the elephant and says, God is like a vine. And so on and so forth. The question is, the person who's using that analogy is stepping outside of the picture and claiming to see that there is an elephant. And that's where the problem lies. The person using that analogy is claiming the ability to see that very same ability that he's denying from everybody else. You see, the agnostic, the hard agnostic, in saying nobody can know the truth, especially if they're wanting to use the illustration of the elephant, is stepping outside of the picture and saying nobody can see the elephant. Everybody's blind. Every religion in the world is blind. Everyone else is blind. I'm the only one who can see that it really is an elephant. Nobody else knows it's an elephant but me. And so, in the attempt to be humble, the hard agnostic is actually the most prideful person in the world. And that's not just a play on words. That is not just a clever little trick that I just played on you. Think it through. What does the term understand mean? To understand something is to stand under it. to fully understand truth is to stand under it. You see, we've gotten into this crazy, insane notion in our day, this backwards day of ours, that to believe in truth, to be certain about truth, is arrogant, and to doubt truth is humble. It's actually the exact opposite. If I doubt everything outside of my mind, then I become the God of my own little universe, and my own personal opinions become the standard of truth for my entire world. But if I become certain of great, lofty, absolute, invincible truth outside of me that I must conform to, there is no room for pride left in me, because it is big and it is suffocating me, and I am submitting to it, and so I become humble. And so, in order to truly be humble, in order to truly be loving, you must submit to truth. Now, we're not claiming that knowing truth is easy. We're not claiming that it's without sacrifices. We're not claiming that it's something that you can do in a day or two. But we are claiming that it's possible. We are claiming that it's necessary. We are claiming that it is hurtful, unloving, prideful, and arrogant to not try to figure it out. And so we want to invite you and challenge you and beg you, please, for your sake, for our sakes, for the sake of the world, believe that there is absolute truth, because the opposite belief is self-refuting. Believe that you can know absolute truth, because the opposite view is self-refuting and prideful and arrogant. And then challenge yourself to fight to figure out what is truth at all costs, no matter how it makes you feel. Because in the end, that's the only way that any of us will ever truly be what we were made for.